There we go. That was weird. Cool. Everything's triggering everywhere. Awesome. Cool badges. Awesome. I'm live, right? Yeah, I'm live. Cool. Cool. What do I need to do? I need Notepad. Where's Notepad? Closed it. Why did I close Notepad? Because I was checking the logs. I do not need to check the logs anymore. I do need to share stuff. Boom. 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 And last but not least, there we go. Okay. Everything was sent out. I think we're good. Let me just verify Twitch is behaving. Yeah, Twitch is behaving. Cool. Okay. With that, we can minimize Discord. Bring up StreamerBot. You guys don't need to see this. This is more on my end. There we go. And then I just need to set the that's fine. That's all fine. We'll just shove it in there. Grab the chat. Put the chat here. There, go. Help messages are appearing, which means everything should be working. Nope, don't want chat there. Thank you. Ah. Hey, there's one in the lower corner, guys. I really dislike Window trying to be helpful. Thank you. Do not put it where I don't want it. Thank you. Okay. We're good there. Let's see. What's something I could do? Let's share the sources to see if StreamerBot is working. Hey, okay, StreamerBot is working. That means I fixed it. Woo! Okay. Well, let's get started then. So we are continuing the game, not the game, the drag and drop random generator. And with that, this should theoretically be the last time I'm in, whoa, it's so close. 4.4.1. They just announced that 4.5 has released, and there's a lot of features I want to get out of 4.5. So I'm definitely switching over to it, but didn't want to do that for this stream. So we're going to stay on this one for this stream. Talking about that, got to use my new plugin just before the stream. So one of the new things my plugin can do is, let's say I have a variable, let's say it, let's call it X, say it takes an int, and let's say I want to do that set get property, I can do colon, and then I enter, and then I can type whatever I want there. And that was really nice when I wanted to update this graph name thing, because it just sets up the default. I want to have a set. I'm never going to make a property that's a get, because at that point, why am I saving it? And then from there, I want to add the bit of code I want, and then I just want to save the value because why would I be setting it? So that's really nice that that worked. So that was like the first time I think that I got to use the new plugin with something that wasn't in the old one. Let's see. I had docs somewhere here, right? Yeah. So the multi-line pasting was in the old one. Clean indentation, I think, was in the old one. I guess I use the auto line break for comments. That's something I do use. I used it exclusively when I was writing these comments. This wasn't in the old one, but I don't consider that using it. And the tool one, yeah, we did that last stream, so I guess the tool one. But this new setting function was nice. I've actually enjoyed it when I had that problem. But either way, let's show what we've gotten so far. So last stream, we had it where we weren't able to save graphs, which kind of were a mute point. Like there's never a time where you'd want to like make a graph and then have to remake it. So now I have it where you can make a graph and we'll just make a basic number generator. So we'll just grab our numbers, connect it here, and we'll say we want between 1 and 10. So you hit generate and it's all hidden away, but yep, there you go. So we generate values between 0 and 10 now. But now you can hit save and you can type in my ran numgen. And you save that graph and it updates the name here. You can't edit the name here, but it saves it there. Hey, that was a Twitch thing. What did Twitch do? I don't know. I need to figure out how to get Twitch messages. Oh, I don't want to hear myself. Oh, that's the alarm. We have 5 minutes until the next ad. Yeah, I need to figure out how to like private message myself that so I know what that noise is. Or I need to get used to that name. But either way, so we can save it. And now when you go to select, you'll see it here and you can click it. Didn't save the connection. Save the values? Yeah, save the values. Oh, it also didn't do that. Hey there! Godot 4.5 is out. Yes, I'm very excited about it. There's a lot of weird things that I've had to do with 4.4 that 4.5 solves, such as this graph stuff. I have these base node things, and I have note abstract because I knew it was coming out. I knew it was coming out soon. But I made notes of like, these are abstract functions and they need to carry on. So it would be nice to take these and actually make them proper abstract, and then inherited classes can now take that. Why did saving... Okay, so I get that. It saved the connection there. That's good. If I hit save, why does it say name the graph? It shouldn't say name the graph. It should say its name. And I just recently fixed that because it was saying nothing. Okay. If current graph name is empty, current graph name shouldn't be empty because we just loaded a graph. Yeah, that's on save. What is... No, that's not it. That's the graph. This is the select. Make new graph, make self-reference button. Oh yeah, and the self-reference button. So that's another thing. I should open that. Give me a second. Let's open up the new Godot. Let's just what's new? Because let's talk about that for a second. Because I recently realized by watching some other YouTubers and stuff talking about it, that one of the features that I was really excited about, I didn't understand it at first, but I was excited about it, isn't what I thought. This one. Let's open this in a new image. Okay. Let's talk about this. And I don't know, I'm going to be maybe talking somewhat out my butt, but let's talk about this. Okay. Cool feature. This append source. Why? So, I have these self-referencing buttons. What does a self-referencing button do? Guess what it does? It just makes it where when I press on it, it sends the text of that button to it. Why would I want that? So, I use that so that when I'm generating these are just the names of the file. And when you click on it, it creates that, it loads that file in. Okay? So, I saw this, and once I had it explained to me, I got really excited because I was like, this is the problem. I needed to append the source of where I was getting the button from. And yeah, I was like, this is great. So I'll just hit advance and I'll hit append source and everything will be great. However, I realized something here. And it took me a while. That works if you're doing something like this. Well, I have the button and I want to press it and I want to connect it here because this is where it's going to be. But where it's not going to be is in the code. So unless they add a flag, which I don't recall the flags, you got deferred. Why is it not pressed? You got connect. We'll just do test and then is it signal.connect? I don't know why it's not showing me the flag. Let's see if it's in the flags. Let's see if I'm talking out. So let's go to the documentation. Godot docs. I'm going to have to update my links. It's going to be so sad. How do I get to current? Stable. Thank you. Let's go to signal. Let's see if it's in here. Because if they add it in the signal, then I'll be happy. Blah, blah, blah. Signal, connect, flags. Yeah. Okay, we have flags. Connection flags. There we go. Yes, they do have it. Okay, never mind. I'm perfectly fine. So that's going to be awesome. Because that means this entire class I made, this self-referencing button, isn't going to be needed. Because I can just get rid of it. I can, in the main, instead of doing this, I can just create a button. So we'll call this a button. And then I can do something like new graph button dot connect. The signal is going to be pressed. I should do it with a proper string, but that's fine. I can call whatever I want the press thing to be. I don't know, press on pressed. That's fine. But then I can do connection flags dot, and they don't have it here yet, but it will be connect append source object. And what that will allow me to do is bypass my self-referencing class entirely, because then I have the object, which means I have the name of the button that was pressed. So I can have one function that just loads up graphs with a name, and that will be great. So I'm very glad they added it here, because when I saw this picture, I thought it was just a button. I shouldn't have thought that because Godot is really good and very smart in implementation, but yeah. So I'm excited about 4.5. Sadly, this is an active project, so I don't want to do the upgrade just yet, but there's a lot of areas that I want to upgrade. Okay, where were we? We were on the weird save condition. Current graph name, yeah. Okay, so if current graph name is empty, and it's when it's loaded, which actually gets to the self-reference. So we're actually close. So self-reference, press, there we go. So on this guy, we go here. We do current graph name equals fire. So current graph name should be something. So why is it when we save it, it doesn't read this and it thinks it's empty? Let's print. Actually, what am I doing? That's not print. That's properly. Yeah, this is not JavaScript, so I have to actually click the lower dot. I wonder, can I implement that? I don't know. But let's do this. Let's see what is happening in the system. So we load random number generator, and we get a random number generator. That all worked beautifully. Then I hit save, and I go, what's the current graph? The current graph is random gen. Do I have my logic bad? If we have a var x, which is a string, and we give it hello. If I go x dot is empty, what do we get? We get false because x is not empty. So if x is empty, then we go here. Ads on Twitch, guys, by the way. It's coming. So my initial thoughts were right. Right? Too many languages. Let me make sure I know how to do a one-line if statement in GD script. One line if statement GD script. Okay. That's cool, but I actually want to know. Which case is which. Okay. That doesn't help me either. Okay. One line if statements. There's a proper name. Yeah, that's what they're called. Ternary statements. GD script. Ternary if. Okay, yeah. If the value is true, put it in front. If the value is false, put it in back. So if it is empty, produce nothing. If it is something, produce something. Okay. Oh, I know what the issue was. I don't default it here. I think you do it here. That was the underlying issue. Because I had this bug before where when I created a new one and I hit save, it would put the wrong thing. But now, it still puts the wrong thing! Ah! Okay, I have to figure out that. Or I just do it very specific and I just go, you can't name it. You can't name it special names. Yes, I know this is not best practice, but... Okay, so now I don't care. I don't care if it's empty string or... I care that it's empty string. Current gen can't be empty string. It literally has to be this unsaved generated value now. And make sure, yep, that's fine. That's the name. That's the name. That's the unsaved. That was the issue, is I set that to there. But that's fine. No, no, no. This isn't right. Like, no, you should do the right thing. Okay, so if it's an empty string, then we just go check to see if it is empty. So if it's empty, it is empty. We save it empty. There's code to say if it's empty, do other things. So that should work now. So now when I create it, it's here, but it's actually empty. And when I save, it says, hey, you can save this. Good. When you go to an actual generator and I hit save, it says, here's how you save it. Cool. Awesome. Yay. So we got saving and loading, as you can see, working. What we didn't get is, or when you guys last left us, we didn't have delete or anything, but now we do. So now we delete, we can do ran num gen, and you have to type it exactly as it is to be able to delete it, and then you delete it, and it sets you up with a new one. If you go to select, there's no any. You can go to modify, all that works. So cool. So I think the next major feature I want is import and export, which should be really easy. Import, find the file, try to load it. I guess try to load it. And if the load fails, we just, I'm going to have to pop up a message to the user. If you give me a not graph file, and I try to load it, what should happen? I somewhat want it just to be this. It just goes to default and calls it. But it should alert to the user. Well, no, I could do both. I could load it in, I could pop up the fire dialog. I think I control when the fire dialog closes. So if we go to lists, because list is using a very similar thing. I go to import. What do I do if I import something incorrect? Oh, right. I don't think I even care. I just go, whatever you gave me is what you gave me. But I think when you hit open, there's a callback function that calls my code to say, hey, is this valid? Which means I can try to load it, and if it doesn't load properly, I just don't close this window, and you're just stuck here forever until you figure it out. Not the greatest. Export is easy. I just do the export. So let's see how this property was doing stuff. I think I have export, expose, export. Yeah, export button. So, or I actually don't care about the export. I care about the import. So you open the fire dialog, open it up, say if it's mobile, you grab the user data. If it's not, that means it's a PC, which means they have access to any file in their computer. I connect, I say, yep, I control when it closes. So when a file is selected, I open up that file, I load that file in. So that's pretty much how the import's going to work on the main as well, except I do a try. I can't do tries. How do I check to see if the data was processed nicely. I think I'm going to have to create a new function that just returns, did the data load properly or not? And then I just do, if the data loaded properly, we can close the fire and free everything. Otherwise, we can't. So let's grab this import. And hey, look, on import graph button, need to implement. I also still need to implement the export, but that's fine. Okay, let's delete a couple of things. And if anyone has any questions in how Godot works or anything, I'm always around to ask. Okay, so we have the fire dialog, we create the fire dialog, we make it an open, all that's fine, that's good. On select, that is when we need to open the fire, check to see if the fire is a thing. This bit of code is going to be the loader, and if those things are done, then we close. This one we open no matter what, but in the future we're going to close. Actually, it's kind of, this isn't great code either. We should only free if the fire was something. That's fine for now. Okay, so let's see where I do the loading. Load graph. I clear the graph, do all of this, and then do that. If something were to break, where would it be? How would it break? So for every node, we propagate this. I mean, I guess we could try it that way. So if we just add a path here, we could break it and see what happens. Because we can save a bad one and then do it. So like, okay, let's make our number generator again. That's fine. Connect these. Save. Testing. That's fine. Good enough name. Saved it. Cool. Let's close out just so that we can muck around with it without issue. Open up this graph. Testing. This is this. Let's open it up and just start mucking around with data. Okay. So let's say we don't have connections, we have connection because somebody was bad and tried to do that. If we go here and try to load it, we get a major error here because it says it can't find it. So that means these two will have to have if statements on that. So we can clear the graph, that's fine, because you're attempting to load something. Ultimately, this void needs to be a bool eventually. And then we just have breakpoints, I think. We can just return true if everything worked. But if not, we can go if attempted fire save as nodes. And this will be not return null. Not return null, return false. And we can actually expand this better. That's fine. I'm happy with that. Pop some brackets around here. I think I need to grab one of the brackets and bring it down here. There we go. So then we can add our conditions here. So if that's true and not attempt save fire has connections. So if it doesn't have the 2 top levels, then we know something went wrong. Also, I think I'm going to open this up in Notepad++. I know you guys don't like Notepad++ because it's all white and you guys want dark mode, but oh no, I don't need the update. Yeah. Save. Yes. Cool. Okay. The reason why I went to Notepad++ is I have JSON viewer and I can format this into JSON. Okay. So connections and nodes aren't the right. And then I check if the individual components have their stuff. And if any of them don't, then we know we have bigger issues. I am going to be lazy. I think I'm just going to check that on that. Yeah. Okay. So we're just going to do basically the same thing here. So if either of these are bad, then we know the end result is bad. So we can just go node. It's going to be a dictionary. It's going to have has. It's going to need. Ooh. Let's see. Is there a better way? No, node. Node doesn't know it's a dictionary. I blame myself on that one. I should have done that. Okay, no, node knows it's a dictionary. Has all. Yes, it does. Okay, so I can actually optimize this quite sufficiently. Because I can just now do this, which means I should be able to do that on that one as well. So this becomes if, there we go, and then return false. Oh, no design this because we're in attempted. There we go. Then we pop that open. I don't like the spacing. I need to fix that still. So now we have nodes and connections. So if the file doesn't have those, then it's corrupt in some fashion or form. We do need to see about what happens if I corrupt the data. But let's start with this and verify that this all works. So very similar. Actually, I'm just going to copy this. And I want, oh, thank you. What am I, oh, I keep being page up instead of home. There we go. Okay. We don't want the attempted file. We want the node here. And the node's just going to have a bunch of different properties. We're going to have the name. Oh my gosh. Stop. We're going to have the name. We're going to have the node specific data. We're going to have the path. We're going to have the position. This really should be a thing at the high level so that I can easily edit this. And we're going to have the title. So that's what defines the node. And then on the connection side, we grab this. Do the exact same thing here, except on the connections, we get really just this stuff. It's going to have a from. It's going to have a from. It's going to have a to. It's going to have a port. I need to get the position as well because that needs to be encoded slightly differently. And technically, it has a keep alive. I don't use it, but we should keep it. There we go. And this isn't node, this is connections. So that's that. That's good. After this, we can now do oh, because I'm in an if, it doesn't know that it wants me to go down one. So if that's true, then we now can do node dot get, yeah, position, and we're at a default just to have it, or we just be an empty dictionary. So it's going to get a dictionary. It's going to check to see if this has an X and if it has a Y. So now if any keys are missing, it's going to break out early. Can I optimize this any? Not really. So that's just going to have to be what it's going to have to be. I can space it out, make it look pretty. There we go. Okay. So that works. But now, what if the data was incorrect? What if the node is blah? Or actually, let's mix data types. Let's say the from port is 0, the node is 0, the port is number. This isn't a Boolean. Let's say it's an array of strings of Booleans. And we're do 0 and output. So that's messing up the connections. Here, let's just shuffle this around. So let's say this is a dictionary. This is the string output. Let's grab this, put it there. Let's grab this dictionary, make that the path. Let's grab this array of inputs. And let's dump that in there. Let's make the title, or let's make the property outputs. How broken is this going to get? Let's just mix top to bottom. So that's that. This is that one. And I'm not even getting to invalid JSON. I need to check that as well. But let's check out the somewhat easy case of like, oh, you typed in the wrong value somewhere. Again, you shouldn't be editing this file. It should be just in case you want to give it to like a friend or something, but users are evil. Okay, let's save testing and see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? My computer explodes. Let's play. So testing shows up. I hit here. And yes. Oh, no. Oh, because it's not a string. I wonder what that does in a build. Like, does it just crash the build? I guess not, because I can hit continue. Yeah. So it, like, loads up messy. Is there a nice way to, like, for this? Let's Gemini this real quick. Open up a temp one. There you go. Error handling with corrupted data in a save file in Godot. Let's see what people suggest. Check to see if the fire exists. That's fine. Check to see if it's null. Fine. Validate the structure is valid. Okay. So they say open the fire. If it's not fire, report that. Get the content, close the file. Yep, that's fine. Load the as JSON. If not data or not data is dictionary, corrupted data. And then add more specific validation here. If data has player level or not data is int, produce. I don't like that. Redundant backups, built-in tours. Yeah, I can't use the store because of other issues. Does not have a try catch. That is the issue. Can I fake a try catch? Can I fake a try catch? Because my thought is return bool. I could not worry about any of this, okay? Let's just delete all this for now. Say if the fire is corrupt, the fire is corrupt. But then get return true. Where does the load graph get called? A couple places. This is the one I care about. Let's print whatever load graph gets me on this. So if I hit save, or I hit play, I hit test, load graph's gonna break, but I say, hey, continue anyways. What output did I get? False. That's not true. I can fake a try catch. Because now if I go in here, and I was to fix all this, there we go. And then retried that. True. I can fake a try catch. Awesome. That saves me a boat ton of headaches. So I'm not going to worry. I can do so much. Okay. So I'm going to go off a convention I liked. I think Unity showed it to me as this try. So we're going to try to load the graph. If not, we're going to return the Boolean value of that. But then we need to find all the load graphs and update them. So this one, we're going to try to load the graph. If we're unable to load the graph, then we can just, if this, then we update that. Otherwise, you're stuck there. We attempted to load the graph. That means we cleared the graph, but in theory, it should work. So that's fine. Here. On a generate new, this should not break. If this breaks, what happened? If this breaks, that means the cleared graph broke. Or no, it means the empty graph file broke. But that's hard-coded in the script. So if that breaks, there's bigger problems. So I think we can just ignore that. There we go. So now, if you give me an incorrect fire, if you're in debug mode, it stops it. But if you're not in debug mode, it actually will run through and try to do stuff. So let's break this fire again. There we go. Save that. And that makes my time a lot less wasted. So I hit here, we get into this, it's a bad case, and I don't go anywhere. And I go here, it looks the same as it was before. So that is exactly what I wanted. Let's undo all these changes, make testing good. There we go. Cool. So we can fake a try-catch. That is interesting. Guys, should we experiment? I kind of want to experiment. Let's experiment. Let's drop into the experiment section. Let's create a new... It's going to need to be a scene. Give me a second. There we go. Sorry. Sorry. Allergies, you gotta love them. Okay. So try catch, the reason why I made it a scene is so we can run it. But let's attach a script. Let's make it a built-in script. There we go. Okay. Let's see. How would I do this? We would need a function called ready. And what we want to do is have a try. Try receives, or actually, let's code up try for us. Okay. So let's create a try function. Thank you for the follow, Artify.
Artify01 is curious what's next.
What's next? So we're gonna do Gauntlet, Dark Legacy. Legacy? I think it's Legacy. This weekend with the Blackened One, Saturday from 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight to 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight time. Then next Tuesday is off Tuesday. And I don't know what I'm going to do the following Tuesday. I'm kind of leaning to game dev. I have a couple of game ideas. I also need to finalize this product. So who knows? But let's try to write this try function. Okay, so what I'm thinking is you have the... I don't know what the term for this would be. Conditional function. And it needs to be a callable. I need... Oh, this might be a 4.5 thing because I'm going to need the actual results of that, which means I'm going to need the parameters too. So like in 4.5, I would be able to do parameters. How would I... Okay, let's just continue. But the idea is we do the try, then we have a success, callable, and a failed callable. And the idea I'm having is now that we know that only if the code succeeds does it return true. Actually, we don't even need the callables. Yeah, we don't need the callables. I just need the condition. Bool. So in theory, I should be able to do like return true, and then condition dot call vars. And then this would be where 4.5 would need to be done, because I'd have to have like dot 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 params being an array. And then call would just be params. So, which right now I guess I could do it this way. So then you do triable. I guess you call the triable. If the triable works, I wonder what happens if we do a return, because the callable could return something. Let's just make sure this works for us. Okay, so if the triable executes and succeeds, then it will return true. If the triable fails, we get an error, and we continue through the code. Then try should return false. So now, if we did try, we should do print, print try, and then we could just make a function here. Why are you yelling at me? Oh, because I'm writing a different language. Yep, that would be correct. I think you have to do it this way. Function. And then we're just returning true for now. Yep. Then comma params can do that. There we go. Cool. So let's see if that works. So if I save that and run this, we get true. Cool. But now if I did Bible Visio, does this immediately error out? Dang it. It does. So I need a fake thing. Hey, fool, how are you doing? Give me Legner lore. Wow, here's 100 Legner lore. I hope you use it well. Well, you also might want to use some channel points and steer the Blackened One's crown. It's cheap right now. No, there's no gamble. No gamble. I need to write code that breaks. Yes, I have channel points, fool. Which also means I have ads. But channel points. How do I write code that breaks? I think if I reference a thing from a dictionary, it doesn't have. Or no, I try to set something from a dictionary. Hey, thank you for the subscribe!
A fool underscore WNDRS has breached our defenses and stormed the sub-gates.
Thank you for storming.
Welcome.
Now I finally can do that. Yes, you can. And you get a nice little badge next to your name. Okay. How was I breaking it before? Okay. So I think if I load paths or do stuff like that. So let's do the load. The load should be the easy break function. Because I should be able to just do load. This isn't defined, but if I do 4, it goes, hey, I don't know what that is. But if I go, hey, load, X equals a dictionary, by the way. That dictionary is going to be bad value. And that bad value is going to be a 5. I should be able to do X dot get that bad value. And that should error out and should return false. Yep, it errored. I continue. And I got true. That sucks. That sucks. Because I guess this would be return this, which means I can't easily return the value. Oopsie, wrong button. Yep, it breaks. That's fine. That breaks. That's fine. What do I get out? False. That is not great. That is not great at all. That makes me sad. Okay, experiment's kind of a mute point. Like, I could do it, but I can't get anything from it. I literally only can try the function, and if the function succeeds, all thumbs up. If the function doesn't succeed, all thumbs down, and there's just no way around it. Yeah, you're naughty fool. Are you already have emotes? Yes, I do. I'm curious. Give me a second. I'm curious what that looks like on the YouTube side of the house. Yeah, it shows up. That's cute. uh, for how are you doing? Can I trick this and get the data out if it succeeds? Baking a pizza, just got home. Nice. Oh, wait. Am I being an idiot? How does try catch work? Oopsie, closed out a tab. Let's reopen that tab. There you go. Let's do a Python try catch. Try accept. So I run code, and then on the exception, I run other code. Okay. So maybe I'm just thinking of this wrong. If we did try with the callable, do a params. Okay, yep. So we do try params. So we try something, we execute it, but we don't return. Well, yes, we do. But we don't. How do we verify that? So, like, all of these don't expect a return. If the try has a return, that breaks. Which I think try can has a return. Can Python try have return? Yes. Yeah. See, that's the issue. Is I can't check this. Like I can do it this way. So I can do try catch. And then I can go, hey, success. And I can have a callback here with success params. And then I could do the same thing for failure. So I could do it that way. And of course, all these would have to be defined. It's annoying. But then, if that's true, then I can go if tryable, this will only be true if it was successful. So then I can go return success dot callbar success params, else return failure dot callable fair params. So then this function, I'm going to break it out of this print just so it's easier to read. And I'm going to grab some functions and create them. So function experiment it's going to do the bad experiment. So if we do this, then try becomes experiment. There's no params. And then success could be, we just do the basic function success, because it doesn't matter, it's a callable, so we could just have this print the term success. And then for failure, we have this print failure. Does this seem viable? So then we do success, brackets, failure, brackets, and then that. So in theory, we should get nothing out of here other than print failure, and possibly nothing because we said print. So we don't actually need the print anymore. We can just do try the experiment. If the experiment succeeds, it will print success. If the experiment fails, it will print failure. It's going to error out. That's fine. And it printed out failure. Guys, is this good? I don't know. Like, this is a nice feature. This is a nice feature because then anytime you want to try something, you literally can put a try and then put what you want to do if it fails and what you want to do if it succeeds. But I don't know if that is viable. Let's quickly ask Gemini. Would this be a good, oopsie. I want my temporary chat. I don't want to save this forever. Would this be a good try catch solution in GD script? Interesting approach. No exception handling. Why your code won't work? It works. Don't worry about that. Yep. There's errors. Yep. It crashes. Runtime. The game will crash or an error will be printed to the console. Okay, so maybe it just crashes the game. I don't know. I feel like that experiment was worthwhile. It's cool we could do this. With the new, talking about error handling, with the new, where is it? Error. Nope. Is it? Nope. Yeah. With the new script track, give me a second. Let me zoom in here for you guys. With the new script tracking, backtracking, and custom loggers, this might actually become used for that. Because then I could capture that error and actually propagate it to an error message. I think the code still will crash though. So I don't know what happens there, but yeah. It's an experiment. It was a fun experiment. You will stay there forever now. Okay. So what were we on? We were on this try thing. We got it working. I should put a comment. Try is experimental, as it may crash the program outright. And then when I build it, I'll have to just try that. So now we don't have to worry about testing being accurate. I don't know why every now and then the connection doesn't line up nicely. But okay. Where were we? We were in the import. Okay, so now we can grab the content of the file and we should just be able to load. No, I have to dump it into there. How does that work? That is how that works. We'll figure out what happens at that point. So instead of doing that, we do this. So now we parse the thing. We have the data, so we should be able to do, we can close it. We don't need the data anymore. But we can now do if try load graph. If that succeeds, then we queue free. That sounds fair. Let's see if that works. We're just going here, import. Let's grab this SVG. Yep, it fails there. And it did close out things. Why did it close it out? Why did it close it out? Does it auto close on fire select? What is that emote? Yeah, I can't easily see that. Oh, popcorn. I thought it was tapping its chin like, Baking a pizza got home for. You're eating the pizza now, fool? What pizza was it? File dialogue, yeah. What is that? A chocolate bar? I don't know. Almost done. Yum yum. Okay, I'm where? What am I looking for? I'm on Fire Select. Fire Select emits user select on double click or press OK. But does it do anything else? I feel like it's doing other things. Maybe I can't. Maybe I just have to just lose it. Like if you import like get bears. I close the file, that's safe. I close this. Actually, I should if this is that, then I just try to load in and if I can't, I die. I could reopen it. Is there a keep? Nope. Open. Nope. Open file, open files, open directory, open anything. File mode. File mode. Mode override title. If true, changing the file mode property will set the title. No, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. Yep. Okay. So I think I just have to accept the loss. Like I try to load the graph. And if I can't, I just accept the loss. That sucks. But yeah, I think that's just going to have to be what it's going to have to be. If you have a corrupted graph, you're just SOL. Like, there's no helping you there. At least not until I can get maybe 4 or 5 and actually propagate the error message up. And then I could handle specific error messages. Like, this is where, like, a good error handler would be, because it'd be like, oh, if you failed to load the graph, then propagate this error message, propagate this number up, generally. And if the number matches any of these cases, make the pop-up say this, or this, or this. I don't want to code that directly in here. I don't want to be like, oh, make a new window of error message of this type. I want it just to be like error and propagate up to my error handler. But okay, we have it loading. That's fine. That's fine. I don't like it. Okay, on export, this one's a little bit easier. We can grab this, make this function that. Then we need to save it, which is that's us loading it. That's us there. No. That's us trying to save. This is us making a new one. This is us importing. This is us on press. There has to be one on save. Get current graph data. Okay, so this is getting us the current graph. When do we do that? Here. And that's why we're not actually using it. We're just grabbing the current graph data, whatever that is. So it's going to be very similar to that function. You know, we want this one because this one's not doing it correctly. Okay. So what do we need to do? I don't care about the user directory. I don't care about the vault. I don't care about the fire. I don't care about having the fire. All that can go away. All I care about is once I get the fire, I store the string appropriately. And then I don't care about any of that stuff. And this will be on export. So on export, we open up a fire dialog. We say, hey, you can save it. If you're on mobile or on the web, you can save it only to your user directory. Else, you can save it anywhere on your computer. You select the fire. I say I can write to the fire. If the fire is there, then I write to the fire, then I close. I just realized I don't give you success on this either. I don't give you success messages. Success messages are for better programs. Okay, so now on the export, we can just go connect, pick compatible, and we want on export press, connect. It's connected, it's connected. So now I should be able to go create a new graph. Let's make it a list. Connect it here. Let's make it the ABC list. So now we get A, B, or C. There, A and there you go, A, B, and C. Let's export this. Let's put it into the generator. We'll call it myfire.txt. So now we should have a myfire.txt somewhere. We should. There it is. And if I open that, that looks graphy. We can close that. Close this. Let's open up the program. Let's delete. We can't delete. Let's just create a new one. But then let's import. And let's find my fire and let's import that. Boom! So that works. I'm somewhat leaning to if I should show the name of the file. What do I do on here? If I import a file, nope, I just say unsaved list. I go, I hope you expect this to be something. So that works. Delete doesn't do anything. It shouldn't be enabled. Why is delete enabled? Make new. Why is delete enabled? Delete should not be on if it's new. Delete is disabled if the value is, that's why. There you go. So now when I make it, I can't delete. If I import my text, it loads, but I can't delete still. Beautiful. We got it. We got saving and loading and importing and exporting graphs working. And if I go testing, I can do that. I can export testing to my file. I can overwrite it, and now it will be there forever. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't need my file anymore. We're good. Okay. So I got what I wanted to get done. Let's see. What other features do we have? I think this side is feature complete other than favoriting nodes. Need to favorite nodes. But other than that, I think we're good. Need to check on my pizza. Go, quick, check on it. So other than favoriting nodes, we did have the undo / redo requests. I don't know if we'll get that in this version, but okay. That's fine for the generator. We should just drop everything in. Boom, 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 and boom. Okay, on the what is this called? Preview side, none of these buttons work. So I actually just need to implement history. History and buttons. Because the idea is, it's the generated value here will also appear up here after it's been used or cleared, if allow logging is on. Otherwise, it won't. And you can then check mark elements, delete the ones you don't want, check mark elements, download the ones you want, or copy the ones you want based on the check mark. Allow logging functionality should be also implemented there. And then I think everything else is implemented. So exclusion list, all that, content generators is working. Join generator is working. List generator is working. Number generator is working. So all of them are working. So I think we're nearing the end. I did come up with a new generator that I need to implement as well, and that is the list directory generator, which can list directories, files, or both. So the reason why I thought of that one of recent is, let me open this in a different place. Oh my gosh. Nope. My Explorer decided it didn't want to continue its life. That's fine. So I have, let's see. I don't know what's in here before I just dox all my stuff. What am I looking for? It's not even in this drive. It's in the F drive. Temp, assets. There we go. We'll grab that. So I have these assets, and one of the things I was looking at, because I was thinking about making a card game, is there you go, TCG Creature Collection. Actually, that's not even the right one. What was it? Maybe it was, okay, so let's say it's the location. So what I would want is I would want a random number generator to generate me a random file or a random directory in here. Let's say landmarks. Then in this random directory, I would want it to then generate a random path to the file of choice. So very similar to our list of list problems, I want a directory of file problem. So that is something I want to implement. But I think history is the next bit. I don't want to do history. Okay, so let's plan out some history. Let me close that out, reopen, and kind of plan this out. Okay. So I need the automated output to signal. Yeah, let's notepad this. Okay. So what do we want history to behave like? I need output to check on generation or clear press if allowed logging. If logging is allowed, then emit a signal. Main should listen for that signal, and if received, take the generated output and create a new history node. Appending to the bottom and auto scrolling to the bottom. So that would be history. That would add the history stuff. Then, if any history is checked, then enable or delete, download, and copy buttons. If delete is pressed, then free the checked history nodes. If download is pressed, then open up a fire dialog to save the results. If copy is pressed, then what do we do? Take all the history node values and put it in the clipboard. Might not be web accessible. Yeah, that's the word. And that would be history. I think that would be everything we need to do to make the history work. Is we check to see if the thing's about to be rendered. And there is a case, there's an additional case, or if a new graph is about to be loaded in. Because if a new graph is about to be loaded in, the generated results will clear on that. So we need to log it if need be. Then we emit. It gets added. I think that will be good. I don't think there's any other ideas of what we might need. So let's try to get at least the output doing the emit. Okay, so that's going to be in the output properties. Oh, the load new graph is going to be complicated. No, it's not. Because the load new graph is just going to emit a signal as well. It's just going to be a different signal. It might not even need to emit a signal. It might be able to just do the logging direct. But okay. So we have 25 minutes. Let's see what we can do. So output generator can generate if disabled add generated value to results, clear generated, so this is going to need it. So let's create a new signal append history. And we want historic output. Historic output. It's going to always be a string, so that's fine. So if you clear it, actually, I have this result text.clear. I wonder if I can intercept that. What is result text? Result text is result text. Where is that? It's hidden away. Nope. Hidden in here. There you go. When it's changed, when the Godot is added, when it's removed, when text changed, when text set, but not when text cleared. So no. But because these are the only places where a generated value will be cleared, I can just intercept that as a function. I can do it two ways. I can intercept it as a function, or I can intercept it as a signal. I think function's a safer way. So this would be function, a private function. It's never going to be exposed to the public. Clear and log history. It doesn't need to do anything. It can return void. You can tell this is old code. I don't have the arrow void for everything. So the first thing it needs to do is it needs to check to see if allowed logging is a thing. So let's pass for now. And then these need to keep these as their values are poured. I think I know what that means. They're in here. So yeah, okay. Can I just, no. I need to make unique. And then can I do that? Yes, cool. So now this becomes as simple as if allowed logging. I don't know what the check button does. Toggle mode. If that is true, then we can log. Pass. Either way, result text.clear will happen. And then I don't know why, bro. That was a weakened one. I think I've gotten used to the booms. How's the pizza? Then we do append history dot emit, and we need to emit the result text. Result text dot text. Yep, there you go. My power's been weakened since I've become a subscriber. What did you do to me? I did nothing to you. However, I am planning to extend September into October, so you get cheaper subscribe costs October as well. Hey, you finally stole the crown from Black. Now that reward will always have your name until somebody else steals it. And if you change your name, it will also not reflect that. I know you do that every now and then, so. So we append the history, we omit that, we say, good luck. Do we need to do that? Yeah, because the output doesn't hold the history. No, the output just is the data, yeah. So we append the history, and we say good luck to it. We clear, and then all of this just becomes this. So we can now just call this internally. And now anytime we clear it, it's going to do that. For testing purposes, I don't think base property had a ready. Nope, it did. Of course it did. Why would it not? Okay, so for testing purposes, we'll do function ready super. Everyone's happy. Did they actually yell at me? No. So we call it the super just so that it still does the base property. And then function test history. It's going to take in historic value as a string. And we're going to print historic value. So then append history becomes connect. Test history. It's going to be so nice when that just self-resolves. And I don't need the flag. So now if we run it, we should start seeing print statements of the results. We're open testing, that's fine. Testing should actually be a little bit more. There we go. Let's save testing. There we go. So 8. There we go. So history is blank initially, but it is logging the history. That's cool. Hey, Heather. Yes, I do remember you. I was here for the Jackbox stream. Yes, you were. How are you doing? Little less exciting. We're just doing some coding tonight, but okay. So that all works. That means the history is filing and everything's good. That is insanely how easy that was. I hate when I write code and it's easy. It scares me. Okay. But that's the easy part. Now the hard part is this main code, because the main code is going to also have all this. This needs to become an object that I then control. It's going to be a node. It's going to just keep adding to this. How are you doing? How are you doing, Heather? History node? History node. Yeah, we'll do history node. History log. Historic result log. Historic log. And I actually should be doing it that way. Yeah, that's fine. So now if we go to historic log, we can start writing the script for this. Camille Bryan, I think is the name. Hopefully that worked. I didn't hear the Twitch alert for you though. That sucks. Why did you not get your Twitch alert? No Twitch alert for you? Yeah, you hit the follow. I don't know why you didn't get the Twitch alert. Sorry. But Twitch alert generally says your name and greets you. So, welcome. You're also asking me what I'm doing. So, next Saturday from 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time to 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we'll be doing, me and the Black and One will be doing Gauntlet Dark Legacy, which is a shoot 'em up. And then next Tuesday's not a stream, and the following Tuesday, I'm not 100% sure. Might be doing more development stuff. Might be doing game dev. Kind of leaning towards game dev, but I haven't figured out what game I'm doing yet. Okay, so this is going to be historic log. And we have the checkbox. We'll call it selected. And then we have log. This needs to have a script on it because it needs to be self-referenceable. So it's not a built-in one. Historic log sounds fine. Cool. Let's make this self-referenceable first by giving it a name, historic log. So now I can create them with ease. However, when I create them, I'm going to want an init function because I'm only ever going to create a historic log with a historic value. So, yeah, historic value, it's going to be a string. There we go. And these two can be marked as unique because they're only going to ever be them, because this is actually going to be a really simple thing. But then log.text is going to equal the historic value, whatever that is. And just for protection, toggle. Oh, no, it's not called toggle? Oh, no, it is. Toggled mode? Is that what it's called? Okay, it's... Oh, no. What is it? Nope, not toggle mode. Button press. What is this called? Button press. Of course. Button press. That makes me curious. I think the output might be not fully tested. Yeah, that should be button press. Button pressed. There we go. Now the output is good. Okay, back to the historic log. So we want this to always be false. So that will initialize it, and that will do that. There should be one other function that should be try to get historic value. And we don't do anything, but we are going to return a string. And if selected dot button press, then we return log dot text. Why do you not like that? Oh, not all lines return. Yep. Return false. Or not false, empty. So now we check to see that. Oh yeah, we should also fix the output property if it is pressed and result text is empty. This should be not. So if the button is pressed and the thing is not empty, then we omit it. That just solves one little headache on that end. Okay. So then that should get us the ability to get the history and the ability to get that. So let's go to the main and see what we can do here. Okay. In main, we're going to have historic logs. This should be renamed to history, just so I know what I'm looking at. I'm doing bad stuff still here. Everyone loves it. History. It's going to be VBox container. Okay. And then on the ready here, we do a bunch of stuff. Whenever we create the output node, that's the key thing. Leave them kids alone. Listening to Pink Floyd. Not just screaming at teachers. Output graph node is node.property.generate.connect as entered. So this is where we need to do that. So this will be node.property node.history. It's not going to let me. Not going to let me do that easily. Append history. Connect. And then I'm going to need a new function to add to the history, which I don't really need anything fancy for that. So it should be as simple as function append history, historic value, which is a string. And it's going to return void, and it's going to be pass. There we go. So then on here, we just grab the append history. That should solve that. Then on append history, we now do the fun stuff of creating history. So first thing is var new history is going to equal historic log historic log dot new, and then I need the historic value. There we go. So now we created the historic log, we gave it the right data, so that all should be good. I'm curious if that's going to break because of execution order. That'll suck if it does, but so now we have the historic log, so now we should be able to go to history dot add child and do new history. So now the historic log has a new history. That's that. So then we should be able to go up to here and be bad, because I need to actually grab the history. This is all because I'm nervous that I'm going to change everything because I don't like anything. So let's see if we can do some stuff. So we create testing, we generate 6, we generate, and we get some issues. That's what I was expecting. Log is not defined here. Yep. So this is actually going to need to become a setup function. And then in main, when we do log, this becomes this. And then once it's added to new history, we can do setup historic value. So now we go here, we generate class 6. We generate. Why? Why do you not like that? Invalid key text with a value string on an object null. It should be there. Why is log null? Why is log null? It's on the preview side. No. It's gonna be no. It's in here. In here, yep. History. We got this one. Oh no, we got this one. Is it because this one? That one's defined. This one's not defined. Oh, because I'm an idiot. I don't want this. This doesn't get me the internal nodes. This class name is nice, but it's not helping. I need to get this thing in the main. So let's just grab it. Yep, sounds good. Another constant. I think I put constants at the top though. Because if I need to change them, I need to do that. Okay. So let's go find log. Let's go find history. There we go. So this actually needs to be instantiate. Yeah. So now I instantiated the history, and now it should work. Because now it has the sub things. So let's go to test, generate. We got an 8. We got added 8. 2, 3. Okay, so the scroll bar doesn't auto scroll down. It is doing it, but it's not auto scrolling down, which I want it to auto scroll down. And you can extend it this way. But we need to have the auto scroll bound down, down, down. We'll do that and then we're in the stream. I think I can ask Gemini real quick. How to make the scroll container always scroll to the last line as appending new nodes. Call deferred, scroll to bottom. We get this and then we scroll to bottom. So the UI has time to update. Okay. Sounds easy enough. So oopsie. All the way down. So we could do an await, or we could do a deferred. Ooh, I like that one. Look at this. Give me a second. So apparently you can add it to the container, give it a process frame, and then say, hey, make that visible. I like that one. That one's short, simple. That's how I like my code. So, okay. So we have the node. We added it to the child. We did the setup. We just do an await get tree. Process frame. So we process one frame. And then we just do, I don't think this is a thing. Where am I? Scroll container. I don't have that. I can do history dot get parent. That'll give me the scroll container. Var scroll history scroll. There we go. Then I can just do, it's saying I can do history scroll dot ensure visible and then new history. Let's see if that worked. Because if that works, that's a really nice function. Let's grab this test, generate. It kind of doesn't work. It doesn't work cleanly. Okay. But it says we can try to do this then. So let's try history, not history, scroll dot scroll vertical equals get v, nope. Oh yeah, it's history scroll dot get v scroll bar dot max value. Let's see if that works. So we get testing 10, 9, 8. Nope. It's not working cleanly. I feel like it's because it needs to be deferred. I think it needs to be a card deferred. I don't think this process frame's actually giving it enough time. And it's basically the same code. So let's just try that. Function scroll to end of, what am I doing? That's not how to do this. End of history. It doesn't need to know anything, so that actually works in my favor. So now when we do the history, we just do card deferred. Scroll end of history. Okay, let's see if that works. I don't think it's going to solve it, but 4, 10, 10. No. No, it's not doing it beautifully. What if instead of this, what if we just said like 200? Set the scroll vertical to 200. It's not great, but I'm wondering if that just will push it further down. No. That's actually worse. Don't know why. So, okay. That's as good as we're going to get. I'll have to work on the history some more off stream, but thank you all for being here. I hope you'll have a lovely rest of your week. Let's see who we're raiding into. Oopsie, I'm dropping all sorts of things here. I can't clip. Apparently I can't raid either. Can't do shoutouts? Nope, nothing's working. Oh, why is nothing working? Why is everything ever broken? Okay. I go here, Twitch. Let's explore some things here, guys. Ah, that's why. That's why. I think it's not connecting. Okay. Give me a quick second. We'll just reboot this and see what happens. What's the worst that can happen if I reboot software? Wow, streaming. Nothing's gonna break. It's all good. Okay. Stream Deck is loading up again. Let's see. Okay. Pull this over. Let's see what Stream Deck's doing. Yeah, everything's broken. That's fine. That's what we expect. Link. It's linking. It's linked. It's good. It's finalized. I can close this window. Cool. So now everything works again. Okay, let's see who we're reading to. Raid, long press, raid streamer, show preview. There we go. There's people. Okay. Ooh, we can raid Saint Seer. I think we're gonna raid Saint Seer. Saint Seer is a musical artist I use in a lot of my games. So I think we are gonna raid Saint Seer. Let's do that. And then let's pop this over and see. They're making music. Okay, guys, we're about to raid out. Remember to like on YouTube and on Twitch. You finally can cheer. So if you're so willing, remember to do such. It pays the bills, allegedly. With that, I hope you all have a lovely rest of your night. We're going to listen to some amazing music. They're composing for the Spooktober 2025 Game Jam. And as they're doing that, I'm going to continue working on the program. Saint Seer specifically requested is this random number generator. So that'll be super fun. And in Corridor, going to get some food. And then I'm going to try to rest. I was tired all day today. So that'll be that. But thank you guys. Hopefully this program will have at least like a early alpha release sometime in October. But a lot of features. I kind of like how it's coming together. It's all working. It's weird. I get stressed, but I think it ultimately is working.
4.
We're already leaving. 4, 3, 2, 1. If you remember to follow, subscribe, hit the